Hey, what's going on, TikTok family? Coming to you live from the South Side, man. Nature Boy checking in. Just want to take time to explain who I am and why I'm making this page. So basically, my name is Lawrence Nature Boy Seals, owner and operator of a family-owned farm on the south side of Atlanta, Clayco, Riverdale to be specific. Um, Hyperlocal food systems is something that I'm very passionate about. And it took me a while to get that way. And I'm kind of stepping out my shell now to kind of share our story and what led us to believe in hyperlocal food systems and to create the app Farm Fresh 24/7. Um, Basically, I started off with hobby gardening back in 2010. Just basically I got out the military and looked for, an adjunct for therapy or just to be outside. Started gardening and loved it. And that's where the nickname Nature Boy came from. Cause nobody on the south side was growing. None of my partners was into that. So I was a lone wolf. Fast forward to about 2014, there was an issue with some EBT systems that went down in Atlanta, and it was just pandemonium. It was chaos for about 3 days over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By Monday, it came back up. Luckily, I didn't need the stamps, but I saw my community in disarray because of lack of access by way, like the food was right there. They just didn't have the money. So I switched from hobby gardening to more of like taking it serious. I wouldn't say I was a farmer then or like a bona fide homesteader, but that kind of came later. Fast track it to 2017. We bought our property, which is now Seals Family Farm in Riverdale. And I filled out my farm plot number, registered with the USDA, did all that stuff. And I was like bona fide, like, hey, we're going to make this a farm. We're going to do it. We're going to feed our community. And I kind of like to work in reverse engineering. So I got all the numbers and the paperwork done. And then I went into trying to understand how I was going to make money as a farmer. I went around to local farms in Atlanta, only to kind of ask questions and poke and prod to figure out how they made money, what it looked like for them. Long story short, I felt that the agricultural system, in general, was just unsustainable. So I basically backtracked and kind of recalculated everything and just said, well, you know what? Maybe I can't grow food and sell it, but I can definitely grow food and feed my family. So I learned around 2017 that homesteading was a thing, and that was the terminology to describe someone who grows food with the specificity to consume it, not to sell it, right? Not to make profit. So we became homesteaders, 2017. Only to find that homesteading was not only to find, but I didn't realize how expansive homesteading was, because you have to look at every single thing in your life that you have to outsource or buy from somewhere else, and you're trying to reel it in to where you can manufacture it, grow it, manufacture it, finish it at home. So that's food is always where people start, animal husbandry. So raising animals for meat. We raise chicken, quail, rabbits as well, for manure. And then you have to think about medicine. So my wife became an herbalist. We started growing herbs, learning about natural medicines. I started making, activated charcoal. I built a charcoal retort, for dehydration and food preservation. We had to learn and build our own dehydrators and certain things we just did. And it really became taxing because we started to outgrow our space. So we did what everybody does, and we vamped the scene looking for land out in the country. We found land, bought it in connection with another farmer, and basically we felt that we moved too fast, because we found some things after the purchase. Aside from just interpersonal conflict, the contract was voided. But even before then, I noticed that in the country, there's less access. So you really are out there by yourself. Like, unless you're moving with family on land, or like we were doing, like moving to build a community, you're going to be by yourself. And even if you're that far out in the country to where you're not by yourself, you might end up being in a place where you can't get equipment shipped to you. I had that problem myself. So I had to have a strong enough truck to pull equipment. It was a fiasco. But again, it was kind of just divine intervention, because it didn't work out because of the inner workings of the community. And we didn't take the time out to really vet people properly to understand if our visions were the same and if we want to live life the same way. So we never sold our farm here in Riverdale. So we came on back and kind of changed our azimuths, started changing our trajectory for, being sustainable. Because if you can do it by yourself, that's cool, but it's really, really, really difficult. So I came up with the idea of just basically organizing communally and tapping in with other growers in the Atlanta area and starting to intentionally devise a strategy where we become more sustainable together. Instead of looking at it as homesteading and being self-sufficient like one family, we looked at it like a communal thing. So in Atlanta, present day, we have over 25 families that we exchange and barter with. We don't even sell any of our goods because, again, we consider ourselves more homesteaders than farmers. So we run a farmstead where our farm, we basically teach. It's agro-tourism, agro-education. So we teach people how to be self-sufficient. Instead of you buying it from me, I empower you with the knowledge and the resources, possibly like compost, chicken manure, wood chips, raised beds, little things, seeds, transplants. And then we walk you through how you can be sustainable on your own versus you just picking it up from us. So we basically connected with backyard growers, gardeners, people who just started, and we started to devise the strategy to separate ourselves from having to do everything and then looking for assistance and being able to rely on other people within a driving distance. So we're impacting our household by way of having less workload. We are impacting our communities by educating and teaching how to grow food. And then we're impacting our ecosystem by not having to drive so far, because I'm getting, fresh bread from 15 minutes down the road, with another farmer who's growing grain down in middle Georgia, supplying the grain for the baker. So we're kind of connecting all those dots. And right now, this page is going to be dedicated to showing our growth as we continue to build our system here in Atlanta, utilizing the Farm Fresh 24/7 app. And my intentions is to share the growth, the success, and the failures, so you don't have to go through them, but to kind of fast track you and encourage you to do it in your own area, because it's not really televised or really talked about much. We think to be self-sufficient, we need to go out to the country, but really the reality is the resources you can have within the city limits can put you in a better place faster. So you can actually stay in a metro area and be fully sustainable if you make the right connections. So that's what I just want to empower you all with, the message and how we do it, how we're doing it, how we did it. And hopefully we can grow together. So I just want that quick little intro video so y'all know who I'm is and what we do, what we standing on, and why this app is so important. It's coming to a city near you, and I hope you're the one who presents it. We got to be the change. All right. Nature boy. Keep it funky.